Imam Maulud brings to the fore the definitions of these diseases, their etiology, origins and causes, and how to cure them. The first disease he speaks of is miserliness, bukhl. It is first not because it is the worst of characters, but because of alphabetical ordering in Arabic. He mentions two aspects of miserliness. One relates to the sacred law, sharia, that is, rights due to God and to His creation. The other pertains to muru'ah, which is an important Arabic concept that connotes manliness and valor. In pre-Islamic Arab culture, valor was a defining concept. It is similar to Western ideals of chivalry and virtue. The Latin word vir means man. Similarly, the Arabic root for virtue, muru'ah, is a cognate of the word for man, though scholars state that it refers both to manliness and humanity. Regarding the first aspect, the sacred law obliges payment of zakat, charity distributed to the needy. Miserliness in the form of not giving zakat is explicitly forbidden. The same is true with one's obligation to support his wife and children. Even if a couple suffers a divorce, the man must still pay child support. Miserliness, when it comes to the obligations of sacred law, is the most virulent form. In terms of valor, the Imam goes into some detail. One should never create difficulty over paltry matters, he says. When it comes to debt, it is far better for the creditor to be flexible and magnanimous than demanding and unbearable. This is especially true when the creditor is not in need of repayment, while the debtor faces hardship. An understanding and compassionate creditor is one who has valor. Having this quality of magnanimity is not an obligation in sacred law, because the creditor has the right to what is owed to him. But if he is apathetic to the needs of the debtor and insists on his payment, this is considered reprehensible. It is an Islamic ethic that a wealthy person have magnanimity, generosity, and the demeanor of lenience. A hadith speaks of a wealthy man who would instruct his servants when collecting money on his behalf. If the debtors do not have the means, tell them their debts are absolved. When this wealthy man died without any good deeds save his largesse with debtors, according to the hadith, God said to his angels, "This man was forgiving of people's transgressions against him, and I'm more worthy of forgiving transgressions, therefore I forgive him." When hosting guests, one should not be persnickety, says Imam Maulud. If a guest, for example, spills something on the carpet, the host should not display anger or, worse yet, scold the guest. It is far better humanity and valor to make one's guests feel no consternation at all. The Imam mentions buying a funeral shroud, saying there should be no haggling over the cost, for the funeral shroud should remind one of death and not worldly matters. Also, when buying livestock in order to give meat to the needy, one should not haggle over the price. This applies to purchasing other goods that are intended for charity as well. A person who doles out difficulty without cause strips away the veils of dignity. This is what the wise guides, that is, the scholars, have said. It is equally regrettable when one discharges an obligation or fulfills a trust without good cheer. When paying charity, for example, one should smile and be humble, allowing the hand of the indigent to be above the giver's hand. It is a privilege to be in the position to give charity, and an honor to fulfill a divine obligation. In Islam, it is an anathema to give away in charity what is shoddy and inferior. There is parsimony and miserliness in this. The Muslim tradition is to give away from what one loves. God blesses this charity and extends its goodness. O you who believe, spend from the good things you have earned, and from what we brought out for you from the earth. And do not seek what is inferior in order to spend from it, though you yourselves would not take it unless your eyes were closed to it. And know that God is ever rich and worthy of praise. Quran 2:267. And you will not attain to righteousness until you spend of what you love. Quran 3:92. Generosity is one of the highest virtues of Islam and one of the manifest qualities of the Prophet Muhammad, who was known as the most generous of people. The word for generosity here is derived from karam, which also means nobility. In fact, one of the most excellent names of God is Al-Karim, the generous. It is better to go beyond the minimum of what the sacred law demands when giving charity. This generosity is an expression of gratitude to God, who is the provider of all wealth and provision. The etiology of miserliness comes down to loving the fleeting stuff of this world. The miser ardently clings to his wealth and hoards it up. The word for cling in Arabic is masak, which is derived from another Arabic word that means constipation. Miserly people are those who are unable to let go of something that otherwise poisons them. The Prophet said, God has made what is excreted from the son of Adam a metaphor for the world, dunya. When one is hungry, he seeks out food, eats, and is pleased. But when it leaves the body, it is the most odious of things. Giving zakat is letting go of a portion of one's wealth to purify all of one's other assets, and ultimately, one's soul. It is possible that someone's earning may have some impurity in it, some doubtful source. By giving zakat, one purifies one's provision from whatever unknown impurities that may have entered. Imam Ali said, "The worst person is the miser. In this world he is deprived of his own wealth, and in the hereafter he is punished." The ultimate casualty